Steven, it's a new year, it's 2022, and I've got a big, fat, juicy wish that it's going to be a year full of fulfillment here on You Can't Disappoint a Podcast. What do you think?
I've got a big old sauce-drenched wish myself, just slapped on my plate here in front of me, and I'm going to dig in to a whole nother year of You Can't Disappoint a Podcast.
It's going to be a big year full of winding down our rewatch of Community and moving on to whatever comes next for us, and to be a part of it with us. There's so many ways to show your support.
We've got a big old warm pool here for you. Come on and slip on your skivvies and slide down the ladder and dive in. How can they get in this pool, Zach?
If you put your toe in the water and it feels fine and you want to get waist deep, come join us on Patreon, patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. It's the way to support this show and to help us move it forward as we move into the future. It's also the way to get more of us every week with our live pre-show every week, You Can't Dis a Pre-Show, and all kinds of Patreon exclusive content coming all the time, Steven.
We'd love for you to support us on Patreon, but you can also hang out with us free of charge over on Twitter at You Can't Dis a Pod. We are also on Instagram at Can't Disappoint Podcast, and we're on Facebook and YouTube under the whole name of the show, You Can't Disappoint a Podcast.
Also, if you would like to be a part of the show every week, you can email us at can'tdisappointpodcast@gmail.com. To be a part of next week's podcast, write us in your trivia, your favorite funny moment, and your episode MVP for next week's episode of Community, and we'll read it out loud on the show.
If you like what we do here, leave a review wherever you leave reviews about podcasts.
Yeah, maybe like the Sharper Image product review site. Leave us a review there.
There's like a box full of sticky notes at my post office. Write a review and leave it there.
I hope you guys are jumping on board with us and you're ready to traverse 2022 with me and Steven. What do you say? Let's rip our way into another episode of You Can't Disappoint a Podcast.
Cannonball!
I'll put like a big splash.
Yeah!
Dean Pelton, did Greendale Community College give a degree to a dog?
I seem to recall... No. No way. There's absolutely no way. Not that dog.
That dog? You remember the dog. Was it enrolled in classes?
How are these hard questions?
Wop bop a loo bop a wop bam boom. It's the 100th episode of You Can't Disappoint a Podcast. You
A
pieces
whole
of shit.
century, Zach.
Can you? That's nuts.
100 years of Community.
We've done this 100 times.
Wow.
That's something.
10 decades worth.
Steven, 2 hours from
Community.
now-ish, we'll have 10 episodes of Community left.
Holy shit.
And this is the 100th time we've done this. I cannot believe how long we have committed to this bit.
Yeah.
And that we're here for a 100th time to talk about a show that I still adore.
When I say psych about doing this podcast, it's going to really pay off.
Yeah, we're really
It's going to be right
committing to
before the
this bit.
finale. I'm not going to do it.
He'll still never, ever have seen it. I'm really excited to be here. We've been good vibing this whole time so far that we've been working today. We're here to talk about Community. It's You Can't Disappoint a Podcast. Hi, everybody. I'm Zach, and I have a right to be here.
I'm Steven, and it's 3 a.m. in the frickin' morning.
It's 3 a.m. in the morning. Isn't that how that Eminem song goes?
For the boys.
The park car and the lawn yard and the... I can't do
Lanyard.
it. That's why he's the GOAT. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. Really excited to talk about the 100th episode of Community. We've got to shout out our $10 and up patrons over at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast.
Who I would rate a perfect 100 out of 100. Only these ones, though. You get it, Zach? It's the 100th episode.
It is
so
the
I'm saying a
100th
lot
episode.
of 100 things.
The 100th episode extravaganza. It's gonna be star-studded, loads of surprises. Don't touch that dial. We're going places today. Okay, so let's shout them out. Our $10 and up patrons are Danny M. Lugo, Mary Baker Budisa, Brian Thurman, Planeswalker Prez, and Brandon Folkemer. We're very thankful for all those people to help us bring this show to you every week, and also thankful for them as we're beginning to close the community gap, as their financial stability will help lead us on to the next chapter of podcasting for us.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, it wouldn't be an episode of the show if we didn't shout out the one and only community daddy, our long-schlonged papa over at Communities on Twitter. We're very thankful for the support that they give us. It means a lot. I don't think we would be here at episode 100 if it wasn't for the stern shaft of papa.
I think long schlonged papa might be the worst thing
Yeah.
that's ever been said.
I mean, come on. He's got BCE.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. Big chair.
Big Communities energy.
Big Communities energy. Yeah. You know, the first time Papa stood above me at the beach and the shadow cast was...
And you could just see a slight inseam on Papa's swim trunks that just gave everything away, left nothing to the imagination. And at that young, prepubescent, beachfront age, that set up every expectation you'd have for manhood for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I now get how he could father so many children without ever meeting our mothers. He doesn't need to.
I keep wondering when those genes are going to kick in.
You know,
I've been waiting for it. You know, I see family resemblance in the two of us all the time. We're
Yeah.
spitting images of our daddy. But some aspects, yeah, I must have gotten from mom because it is
Damn.
quite an innie. Anyway, what's up, Steven? What's going on with you?
You know, just living La Vida Loca.
Yeah, how's that?
Happy to be here, you know.
Yeah.
It's exciting times here in Chicago.
Really?
It's the summertime, so it's
In
hot.
the summertime, in the ba-ba-da-ba.
Yeah. Princess and the Frog. Once again, Disney said,
What?
we'll give you a black movie, but they have to be an animal.
Princess and the Frog?
Yeah.
That's not what I was singing.
Down in New Orleans.
You thought I was singing the song from Princess and the Frog?
Yeah.
It's that super classic 70s song that's like, ch 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 in the summertime when the weather is out, I've got women on my mind. Ba 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 ba. You don't
They
know
play
that
a
song?
similar tune. I do, but for some reason I thought that they just like redid it for the Princess and the Frog.
I had no idea what
But
you
the
were
one they
going
sing
with
is-
when you started talking about. That's nothing like it.
Summertime.
Steven, even with your permissions as a black man, I feel like what you're doing is racist.
Come on, is it the piano guy and Tina Fey?
So I set a fire in my home since the last time that we talked.
I've been waiting to ask more about this. Are you okay?
No, but I'm as okay
how
as I was
severely?
before.
The burns look pretty severe.
So
Zach.
we cook all the time. We use our stove and oven all the time. I don't exactly know what the mistake was. What caused the fire? I was broiling.
Oh.
So it was very, very hot. But I do not know exactly what I did wrong.
What were you
because I've done
cooking?
this many times. Pork banh mi. It was like pork patties
Mm.
for banh mi. A fire started in the oven. Okay, so I had to broil them for like 3 minutes, then flip them and do another 3 minutes. So I was doing the first 3 minutes, and it was getting really smoky. And that does happen when we broil sometimes. Sometimes it gets really smoky, and our apartment is really small, so we have to use fans so the smoke alarm doesn't go off. So it was getting really smoky, but I don't really find a lot of concern at that because it happens a lot. So I took them out for a second, and I thought, well, are they getting burned? And they looked fine. So I put them back in, and they started getting smoky again. But I was like, okay, a minute left. And then it was getting really smoky, and it was like rising through the burners in the stove. And I opened it, and it was on fire. And I was by myself in the apartment, and the cats were here. I've never had to put out a fire before indoors. It was scary. It was probably a small fire, but I'm thinking, like, I don't know what to do. And what happens? Do other things catch on fire? The oven's f***ing on. I didn't know what was going on.
Now, do you have an electric or a gas?
It's electric, so it's not going to
thank God.
explode.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? That's super
Yeah,
hot,
that's still
and there's
scary.
a fire in there. And so I'm panicking, and I'm in the apartment by myself, and like an idiot, I start going, fire, fire!
You're telling the cats, guys.
I don't know. I still feel I'm gonna be 26 in like 6 months or whatever. But
Yeah.
I still feel in moments of emotional or any type of major distress, I still revert a little bit to a child.
Yeah.
Where I think when I was panicking, I was expecting I yell fire and someone comes and helps. Mm-hmm. But obviously, I'm in my apartment alone. Nobody's
So
coming.
nobody
to helping.
came.
And then also
And your neighbors heard you. They heard
Fire,
you yell
fire.
fire. They thought you were just really excited.
And they're
about-
not even concerned that
Yeah.
the building might be catching on fire. So I'm scrambling, and also the smoke alarm's going off, and I'm trying to
Sure.
get it to not go off.
Because that
And
adds more stress.
we have the fan that's off of it, but because of how smoky it was, that didn't help. So I had to find a way to get the fan lifted up higher so I could get the smoke blown away. So it was like right on the smoke alarm. And there's a fire in the oven, and I'm trying to open a window to let some smoke out. And I'm trying to put out the fire. I'm trying to locate the fire extinguisher that we have in the apartment. And this all happened in the span of like 30, 45 seconds or so,
Yeah.
right? So this is all happening. I find the fire extinguisher. I've never had to use one before, so you have to pull
Yeah,
a
I've
pin or
never
something.
shot
I
one of
couldn't
those.
figure it out. I shot it, and it's so old. It's like a 10-year-old fire extinguisher, and it smelled stale, and it just got dust and sand everywhere, blasted in the kitchen, and I inhaled a shit ton of it.
Nice.
And then it put the fire out. And then I thought one of the cats ran out because I let the screen door open and it looked like the
Sure.
screen was cracked open. I was scared that one of our cats ran out and like ran away.
Well, you did
Ugh.
yell fire.
No, not you guys. You guys are fine.
No. You're low to the ground. You're low to the ground.
It was exciting. To
well,
say
I'm
the
glad you're
least.
okay. That sounds really stressful. I've never had
And I
something of
even-
that magnitude go
The
on.
rest of the night, I was like rattled.
Yeah.
Lily got home and I had to help bring up laundry, and I went outside by myself and I was getting the laundry, and I don't know, like I just was in a different state of mind. It's weird how
Sure.
your body kicks in certain
Well, I'm sure it
situations.
was like 60% adrenaline and 40% you being high off your ass from 10-year-old fire extinguisher fumes.
Yeah, I did smoke some of it later.
You just packed it into like a paper and had a time. How was the banh mi?
Oh, it was destroyed. Because all that happened
Well, how
in
did
the-
it taste?
in the
We finished our plates in this home, Zach.
all that happened and it wasn't finished. It wasn't burned. It was still raw in the middle.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Because like that doesn't even sound like there was an issue with your broiler. Like I think something on that caught fire.
I don't know if somehow like an oil
Yeah.
fire started, but I've cooked. I
Well,
haven't made this exact
I
recipe, but
regularly,
broil
when no
all the
one's
time.
home, Zach, sneak into your house and just lather your oven with lighter fluid. Just waiting.
Okay, is there anything that's my exciting story for the week? Anything you want to talk about?
No,
before we
that takes
dive
the
into
cake. I
100th
think
episode?
we can roll on from there. That was
Okay.
exciting, Zach. I'm glad
Well,
you're okay. I'm really glad you're
and
okay.
really, it was a small potatoes thing. Like I got the fire
because
put
I
out
will
pretty
not
fast, and
edit
it was
this
fine.
podcast in your stead.
We've had, I don't know if on or off pod. I don't remember a goddamn. There are hundreds and hundreds of hours of us talking to each other on the
Yeah.
internet. I do not remember so much of it,
Uh-huh.
and I edit it too. I don't know where I was going with that.
I said I'm not going to edit the pod.
Yeah. So what if I like tragically died and we like had just recorded a last podcast and that's our chance for clicks? That's our chance
Yeah.
to really get some clicks.
Re-
You could just
Hashtag
edit that
RIP
last
Zach.
episode in my memory.
Say the end to find out
but
what
no,
happened.
no one would ever know because you wouldn't even tweet it.
I would tweet it.
You would tweet my death?
This one, I wouldn't edit it, but I'd be like, okay, right now, if you pay $45 on my OnlyFans, you'll get the unedited clips just before Zach's untimely demise.
What community GIF would you use when announcing my death on Twitter?
I can excuse racism, but
You drew the line.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about community. We're here to talk about the third episode of season 6. It's Basic Crisis Room Decorum, the 100th episode of the show that My God, even though it only made it to 110 episodes, it is a miracle that it made it to 100 episodes with how much trouble it went through to get to the point.
Well, other than the first 2 seasons, was there any season that they didn't think was going to be the last one at some point during...
No.
That's why. What a way
Period.
to live.
No. I think maybe the season they were most expecting more was like season 5.
Yeah.
And they got canceled.
They got...
So we're talking about Basic Crisis Room Decorum. It was directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. Is that a name that you're familiar with?
Yeah.
He's an actor and director. He's directed
like
tons of TV.
Charlie Kelly.
He's written and directed a ton of movies. My favorite being World's Greatest Dad with Robin Williams.
Oh, that's a good
which
movie.
Is a phenomenal movie, I think.
I didn't know
And
he directed that. What the
He
hell?
acted in the Police Academy movies. He's directed a ton of TV. I'm not going to read off all his credits, but this is the only episode he directed of Community. Dan mentioned that they were friends on the commentary. It's really cool that he did this episode, and it's practically a bottle episode, so it's cool to have a director that really knows what he's doing behind it. And the episode was written, this is the first and only writing credit for Monica Padrick.
Padrick?
That's all I got for you. It's Padrick, Padrick. And the episode originally aired on Yahoo Screen in that great Yahoo Screen in the sky on March 24th, 2015.
Wow.
Let's dive into some trivia. I went a little harder this week than I usually have. Not in terms of difficulty, but by bounty.
Wow. How many? Do you have 100?
No, I've got 7. The last couple weeks I've done like 5. I have 7
I've got
questions.
5, so why don't you lay a couple on me?
Okay, how much is Jeff's night cream?
$200 an ounce.
Good job. Do you want me to give you another one, or do you want to go? You go ahead in case I end up taking some of yours.
What TV station did Annie get an email from?
Oh. Good question. Was it 11?
No.
17. Also no. Another guess? What is it?
We're looking for KZBC.
Yeah, but they're on channel 11.
I haven't been to Colorado. I'm sorry.
Okay, my next question for you. What about Brenda is getting better?
That was my second question. Her thyroid condition.
Do you want me to...
Yeah, throw another one at me.
No, go. Now. You swine.
Well, now I don't want to. How many dog years did it take Ruffles to get his bachelor's degree?
That would be 28.
Hell yeah.
In what year did Ruffles allegedly graduate?
Was that 2011?
No. Dummy. 2008.
Damn it. What does Frankie think Chang thinks she sounds like?
Distant explosions.
And?
I'm not screaming?
You're kind of on the right track.
I don't remember anything but distant explosions.
Distant explosions and crying babies.
Oh, because I love so much he's unstable, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Annie gives this super chipper, yep. Next one for you. Where did the dean file a taco?
Oh, in the if I don't file these, they're going straight to my thighs folder.
It's a little off on the phrasing, but that's not one I'll be a stickler for. I'll give it to you. Things that will otherwise get filed straight to my thighs, which is a better line.
Yeah, it is. Sure. Give it to the show. Not the little guy trying to make his way through Hollywood.
That's me always trying to stomp down on the little guy.
Gosh. What does Elroy say is silly and evil?
Silly and evil. Lots of things are silly and evil. Like, I don't know.
Come on.
Stop looking at me. I don't
guest
know.
on the Colgate Hour.
The silent moment after I say I don't know, where you just look at me, is nightmare fuel. It makes me so disappointed in myself. What's the answer? I don't know.
Candy cigarettes and Flavor of Love. Now, he does not call Flavor of Love Flavor of Love.
Flav had I remember that line, but it wasn't in the bank.
Bonus trivia, Zach. Who won season 1 of Flavor of Love?
No idea.
We're looking for
Tequila.
Hoops. Hoops was her name.
How high did the percentage of dead squirrels raise to under Ruffles' reign of terror?
Was it 17%?
It absolutely was.
Hell yeah. That whole smear ad is really funny. That's my last one.
2 more. Why did Ruffles not technically get a degree?
Well, he owed the library $15 for
Great. One last question. How many yen in data charges was the young man sending to his father.
40,000.
Perfect. Great job.
Nice. Which
You
equates to
got-
about $400.
You got all of mine, but like 1.5. You did a really good job.
Nice. The
Way better
only
than me.
thing you missed of mine was the
feel like I got a
the
couple
TV
wrong.
station and then the Elroy one. But all the other ones you got at least like right or almost all right.
Well, why don't we move right along into what we've been sent this week by our fans for the emails. While you're pulling that up, why don't we mention that things are running a little bit differently for the podcast now. We typically used to record the show on a Thursday and then it would come out on Monday. Now we're recording the show on Monday for it to come out the following Monday. So, next week we're taking a break from Community to talk about one of the shows we might be doing after Community, but typically you'd want to be like an extra week ahead of the Community emails,
Yeah.
So I'll fill you guys in more as we go on, but for the time being, you should have a week to send us in some emails for the next episode.
Look at
of
us. We're giving
Community,
you a buffer.
which is Queer Studies in Advanced Waxing.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. What do we got?
Are we going to talk about? Are we just going to surprise people with what
We're going to surprise them. Well,
Nice.
maybe we'll talk more throughout it. I'll go ahead and mention next week we're doing the first in a series of 4 podcasts that we'll be doing over the course of Community's final season. We're taking a break, partially because I want to really stretch out these last Community episodes because we've only got so much time left to cover the show. So next week we're taking a break from Community's last season to highlight one of the 4 shows that we might be doing, or that we will be doing, one of the 4 shows, as our next rewatch podcast starting at the beginning of next year after we finish this one. And you're going to get your first glimpse into what you might be stuck with us with for the who knows how long. So tune in next week for sure.
Brr, brr, brr.
Brr, brr, brr. Go ahead.
Okay. Our first email is from our friend and patron, Brandon. Brandon says, "Hey guys, what a week to become a patron. I get 2 episodes in the span of 3 days.
Yeah,
it's all
recorded
because
this
of
one
me
quick.
supporting the show. I
is.
know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no more of that, buddy.
You get
gotta
one,
wait a week.
that's it.
This is definitely one of the funniest season 6 episodes. There are a ton of great moments, from the Brenda paradox, Chang's focus on it, and Annie's mounting frustration are hilarious, to the attack ads, to Frankie's hope speech. And of course, 5 cans. Every cast member gets to shine.
Do it better. Say it like he does.
5 cans!
That's so good.
Every cast member gets to shine. Also, Elroy being clueless about the group / Greendale is really funny since he hasn't actually joined them at the study table yet.
My favorite of those is when he comes in and they're like, Brenda's thyroid is getting better, and he thinks they're talking about Britta, so he says, you can keep the
You can
pants.
keep the pants. The only thing stopping this one from being really great is that Annie's story is the KFC spaceship episode all over again. Annie being so shocked / angry that Greendale gave a degree to a dog doesn't make much sense at this point.
Did that happen? I don't remember that from the KFC episode, do you? I don't remember Annie being against... I don't remember it.
I don't remember her plotline for that one.
We've already discussed so many hundreds of hours of talking. You think
Yeah.
I remember the episodes of the show we're here to talk about? No.
Nothing.
Nope.
Especially after all her opening lines from last season that detail how much of a joke the school is. I feel like a dog getting a degree isn't that surprising considering there was a "can you fry that?" class at Greendale. Plus, there isn't much weight to Annie walking out on the group because I don't think any viewer actually thinks she would leave at this point and transfer to City College, no less.
I think you
Is she
got a
still
lot
a
of
student?
good points, Brandon. Yeah, she is. Because there's the part in this where she's like, a male teacher is physically overpowering a student.
Yeah.
I think Brandon's got some good points there. One of my biggest issues with the episode, and we'll talk
But
about
hadn't
it
they
later.
all left Greendale already?
Yes, but they've been taking classes. We talked about this literally just last week because, or the week before, because Annie was in ladders.
Oh, that's fair.
Because I said the same thing. I was like, do all these people work here? Because
Yeah.
someone said something about Abed getting fired. And what I wanted to say, I think Brandon's got some good points, and I'll talk about the Annie stuff a little bit later. But he made me think about how just 2 weeks ago in the Ladders episode, Annie was very much one of the people on the side of celebrating and restoring what keeps Greendale weird. And I feel
They had
like
a
this
friggin'
absolutely goes
speakeasy.
along with that. Yeah.
Favorite,
I had thought that before, so
regardless,
good point.
I still really enjoy this episode. Definitely the best of the season so far. I'll agree. Favorite funny moment.
Oh, Jesus.
The entire Dean, Jeff, Takashi
Yeah.
texting bit. It
Every
gives backstory.
moment of it.
Yeah, it's incredible. It gives backstory to the Dean's obsession with Jeff and his incredible payoff with the end tag. The Dean creating a Yakuza leader with his stupidity is amazing. Honorable mention to Frankie's speech to Annie on Hope, and Annie being so used to Chang's insanity when Frankie asks if she knows he's unstable. Yep. Trivia. Which two side characters make a quick appearance before being cut
That
off
would
by
be
Frankie?
Dave and Vicky.
Friend of the show.
Dave is holding a box and Vicky's holding a globe. I almost made that a question. Look at me being smart.
Heyo.
F you, Brandon.
Yeah, if you missed it, go check out our awesome interview with friend of the show,
Darsan
Solomon.
Really cool guy.
Yeah. And he was on Victorious.
Yes, which is, I
on.
think, what we mostly talked about.
That is what we mostly talked about.
Like on and off pod. It was a lot of Victorious talk.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I
That was
into
really
it.
cool.
That was really cool. What a cool guy. He was really, really nice to interview.
Really eager to come talk to us.
Yeah.
Maybe eager is the wrong word, but
He was happy to do it.
I DM'd him and he saw it like months later and
Yeah.
still was like, I'm sorry I didn't see this. Let's talk sometime, which was really cool.
Yeah. Still waiting on that
Big ups to
reply
Darsan.
from
John Oliver. No, I don't know if I reached out to John Oliver. I've reached out to some people. We need to start doing that.
yeah.
Anyway.
I'll send some asshole pics. That'll get us in the door. What two impersonators did Abed try to get for Greendale's attack ad? Well, he was gonna go with the James Earl Jones, but he
Was
ended
there
up with
another
James
one other
Spader.
than James Spader?
I don't think so.
Because they said was going to get.
Yeah, I think that was just a up on.
Okay. Brandon's really dropping the ball all of a sudden.
Yeah, Brandon,
for being
every
so
time.
nice about having signed up to be a patron and being so excited about all the content we're getting, I'm starting to fucking hate Brandon.
Brandon has the disservice of usually being the first email that we read, so he gets
Really?
all the shit
Yeah.
lately. Because I don't really open them in a particular order, but I go in the order that you send them to me.
Does he have anything else to say to us? Because I'm about sick of it.
Yeah, how much do candy bars cost at Greendale? $1.79.
Yeah, what does Annie say before? $1.49.
$1.49.
$1.49. So basically
I remember what a candy bar
$1.50.
costs 50 cents.
That's
what's
a
the
funny
name
moment. Even though I hate the Annie leaving thing when they're like, our friend just left. We're sad. And he's like, oh, you guys were close.
Because he has no clue. What's the name of Chang's really gross porno? Chang does Greendale.
Yeah, but the way he says it, I feel like it's the first part of a title, because obviously Debbie Does Dallas is a famous porno, but the way he says it, he's like, Chang Does Greendale. I feel like it's called Chang Does Greendale a Favor.
That's great.
That's my theory.
We got all the answers correct.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
off, Brandon. What's next?
Episode MVP, really tough this week.
You're still...
Since this is
You're still...
definitely-
I'm about to... you can, like, block and reject patrons on Patreon. I'm about to reject and block Brandon.
Remember when we're like, damn, MJ with the long emails, and it was like 4 questions, and
now it's
I'm in the
literally
Philippines.
the bulk of each week's episode.
It's great. I like it.
I do too. We've built a cool community of people that like to incorporate their thoughts into our show, and I think it does us a service to have some other voices giving some thoughts that we don't have on the show on our show every week. It's cool.
I can't disagree more. I actually don't read the emails. I just make shit up the whole time, Zach. I
Yes.
can't read.
There was never a Brandon.
There was never a Brandon. I was MJ all along, you fool. I did the show.
How did you make that work for that Zoom call?
It was a lot of smoke.
You're
and
pulling
mirrors.
a lot of strings.
I had to be on a very serious delay.
Yeah.
The Dean, Frankie, Elroy, and Chang get the funniest moments, but Annie probably has the most to do and moves the story along. I'll go Annie, even though I don't like her story that much, since she gathers the group together at 3 a.m. and spurs them
answer.
to change the attack ad at the end of the episode.
Gotta tell you, Brandon, that's the wrong answer.
That is the incorrect, Brandon. Looking forward to next week where we get another great Chang episode. Thanks,
You're not getting
Brandon.
shit next week, because next week we're talking about something else.
Oh, Brandon, goddamn it.
Brandon.
Good luck next time.
All
Better
right.
luck. Good luck, Charlie. Next
Now
we
I've
have
got all my negativity out. Who's next?
next time we've got
What?
now right now
I'll fix it in post. Just say it clean.
right now, today, we've gotten
do it.
our next email from our dear old, young-bodied, old-hearted daddy. He says, "Hi, guys. I think this episode was the first of season 6 that made it clear that they were not going to be bound by the traditional episode. It has visual gags, episode-long running weird jokes, and opportunities for Frankies to shine. My MVP is Frankie, and I thank her for never
Better
downloading an app about farming."
That's funny. That's a better answer than Brandon, Papa. I'll give you that one.
Have a good one, Communities Matt. Before I read trivia, I recently tried to go on my phone in the App Store and find a game I used to play called Zombie Farm.
Doesn't exist
where it was
anymore.
like Farmville. Yeah, it's not around. I was real upset. I liked that game.
Meanwhile, I'll be dead and buried, and Flappy Bird will still be on my phone. Just kidding. I think I lost it a few phones ago. But
Yeah.
I had it for years and years.
Because I was like, I have to keep it.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
I think
Ruined the
when it
guy's
first got taken down, that's so stupid. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
He made a game and it became the most popular thing in the world, and he said, "I'm scared," and took it down. Come on.
Just fucking, I don't know, cover your phone screen with your millions of dollars.
All he had to do was like wait a second, get a company to buy it, and then we would have been watching the Flappy Bird movie too.
Exactly. God.
Stupid.
Dumbass.
He said, "I don't like all the notifications." Shut the up.
What a dumbass.
Yeah.
Our trivia from our dad.
Come on
What's
the
the
show.
call letters of the TV station? Do you remember them?
No, not at all. W?
It's like KZBC, I think.
I said W.
Kuzb. What folder is the taco in?
Things that would otherwise be filed straight to my thighs.
That's kind of a erotic folder. I like it.
Yeah.
Just
Spent
put
a lot
me
of
in
time in that folder.
there. What voice did Abed want for the voiceover?
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones.
I
Do you like
don't- I
James
don't
Earl
know.
Jones?
Yeah, but I don't think that's what you just did. That was a good, like, deep kind of voice, but I don't think it was James Earl Jones.
Simba.
Have you watched Obi-Wan?
No.
I haven't watched it either. I was going to ask you how the Vader portrayal is, because I don't think James Earl Jones had anything to do with it.
No. It's Hayden Christensen again.
Is he still alive?
Hayden Christensen?
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
He didn't kill himself after Star Wars like
No.
everyone told him to.
Yeah, I should have. I'm kidding.
I think the little kid that was
Lion
from Indiana
King.
that played the little kid Anakin,
Another
I think
movie
he's like
I've
a
never seen.
drug addict or something.
Never seen The Lion King.
Any of them?
I've seen the Broadway play.
You get it.
Oh yeah, I
Lion King's
absolutely
really
get
good.
it. I've seen I think that's another. I didn't watch it when I was a kid, and I know like every beat and every song. I've just never sat down and watched it. I've
Yeah.
seen The Lion King 1.5. I quite enjoyed it.
I like 1.5.
Yeah.
I even like Lion King 2.
I haven't seen 2.
It's okay. Not as good. Not
What
as funny
about
as
the
1.5.
one with Troy Barnes and the girl from Destiny's Child?
I can't watch it because every time I watch the trailer, it kind of creeped me out. It's a little too realistic. They just look
Yeah.
like a bunch of lions.
Realistic, but
singing.
not.
Yeah, it's in a weird zone that was too much for
It's
me.
in like that Polar Express Uncanny Valley kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got our good friend Artie.
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 I like Artie. I don't have any
I do
negativity
too.
for
I got no
Artie.
qualms
She's
with-
always
with-
teaching us stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Artie. Hi, Steven and Zach. I hope I send this email in time. Completely forgot that you guys are going to start recording on Mondays. Also, I am so sleep deprived, so apologies in advance if my email is hot garbage today. I think it was Zach who asked if I refer to myself as British or English. It wasn't, Artie. It was me.
No, I like to think that's the type of witty, thoughtful, and inquisitive thought that would come from me. I'm gonna give Artie that one.
In UK, when someone in UK, you mean in the UK, Artie?
Artie's never been British. Artie's been just some girl on the internet, and she's been pretending to be British this
Who
whole
are
time.
you, Buster
schooling
Bluth,
us
talking about being in army? In UK, when someone refers to
even is the real
themselves as
Artie?
English rather than British, what they're usually implying is that they're a pure white person plus the other nationalities. Wow. The Scots, the Welsh, and the Irish despise the
Is
English
she telling us
collectively.
that everyone in the UK is white?
So those of us who are ethnic minorities living in England,
Oh,
we refer to
there you go.
ourselves as British. Wow, that Artie, thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
So she's saying that other people would say I'm white British?
No, she's saying that if someone
white
calls
people
themselves,
will call
English, then they're saying I am like purebred Anglo-Saxon
racist
King George's sister baby.
inbred.
Yeah. Whereas anyone else who's in the United Kingdom, such as the Scots, the Welsh, which, by the way, if you want to learn Welsh history, read Vinland Saga. It's an awesome Viking manga. There's an anime too, but about like the English and Welsh. And
Steven, you are not going to convince me to learn the history of something by picking up a manga. I love the Welsh. I love the work they do with corgis.
They're like, Welsh is such a like batshit crazy language. They have that like town with like 80 letters in the name.
Yeah, there's like that video of a weatherman like nailing it.
Yeah, shout out to Northern UK.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Artie. Artie always
near
educating us. I like that we can ask these questions, and Artie's like, you know what? Let me tell you, you stupid American.
Brandon could never.
Yeah, Brandon, what do you know?
Although I'm really happy for Artie, Brandon, and communities because this is our first time recording on a different day.
Yeah, and they all got it in.
Found us to it, yeah.
Our own significant others that live in the homes we live in did not send shit.
Lily watched the episode with me 2 out of the 3 times.
Danny watched it with me this morning.
Danny's in the other room
Danny's
at my
here
apartment
right now.
and she didn't send in shit.
Fire! 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 Okay. Steven asked about what nasty-looking British food is tasty. Yeah,
you've got it so back. Does she know which one of us is which?
No, but I like it. I will admit
funny.
that some of the UK's traditional foods look and sound incredibly disgusting and refuse to try stuff like jellied eels and haggis. But those aren't the foods that Americans online seem to be repulsed by. Yeah. It's stuff like baked beans, fish fingers, and chip buddies. Foods that are pretty benign and actually taste pretty good if cooked well.
Chip buddies?
What are chip butties?
I know that chip butties. Is that like
That's like the ends of fries? That sounds... I love that.
Okay.
Let's say fish fingers.
I'd rather have a whole
We
fry.
eat fish sticks here.
Yeah.
I like that. And
No,
baked
but
beans.
in the UK, they have inbred fish that have fingers. They're very humanoid. They cut them right off and fry them.
Oh my god. Baked beans are really versatile and can be served as part of a low maintenance meal. I love baked beans.
I would love like a nice, authentic, like thick, juicy British sausage. Maybe even like a fucking blood sausage.
Well, they
like
eat a lot of curry in the UK too. I
and
think.
like some mushy peas.
Yeah, I'll mush your peas.
Some bangers and
fish
mash.
fingers are the seafood equivalents of chicken nuggets. I like it. A chip buddy is we should have just kept reading instead of guess. Yeah. A chip
That's
buddy
why
is
the
essentially...
emails take so long. It's not because of them.
No. A chip buddy is essentially chips, thick cut fries, in a bread bun that's deep fried carbs and then baked carbs. That sounds fucking incredible. And that description in itself sounds incredibly American.
I'm not into that though.
You don't like carbs?
I do, but I think fry and biscuit would be too hat on a hat. I think it would need something else of substance inside of it.
Yeah,
like
that.
Something
Send it to me,
else
Artie.
savory.
I'll eat all that shit up. Our national food can look very beige and sad, so I don't fully blame Americans side-eyeing us sometimes, but I do think that it wouldn't hurt to tone down the xenophobia and focus on other issues closer to home. Yeah, Americans, quit shitting on their food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, I feel like British food gets a pretty bad rep in America. Like, I always hear bad things about it.
When, like, maybe we would have been better if they kept taking care of us. Maybe we.
Meanwhile, we have like
little
chicken
better.
nuggets that make our 6-year-olds have fucking mustaches, but we're. But your food doesn't have colors.
A school shooting every 2 weeks, but
Yeah, but our McDonald's is better.
but our ruler's a dude.
I was watching Somebody Feed Phil, which is like the creator
I know that
of
show.
Yeah. He like
Everybody
for some
Loves
reason got to
Raymond,
talk
right?
he got to talk to the Prime Minister of Finland. It's a 35-year-old woman with a young child, and I was like, wow, that's why America sucks ass. We would never have a 35-year-old woman
Do anything really. That's well past their prime to be of any value.
Yeah, we're a bit behind on the 8 ball. Anyways, on to Basic Crisis Room Decorum. In my opinion, this is the best of the first 3 episodes of the season. And right off the bat, I'd put all main characters as joint MVP. This is a drug-free show, Artie. MVP because this really showcased what a great ensemble this cast is. That being said, I feel like if they had written Chang out of the episode, it would feel largely unchanged. He wasn't really
but he
utilized.
gets some funny moments.
Yeah, Artie, come on, Artie. He wasn't really utilized
Who
well
are
in this
you?
episode.
I'm the plumber. Why?
Is this pornography? You're the only person in it. The whole Japanese student catfishing as Jeff to the dean bit was hilarious. From bro, I just secret that way with love, to the dean handing Jeff 5 cans of olives.
I love hearing Joel McHale narrate the broken English texts. It's so funny. And so said without any emotion.
That's
Please
my sign.
bring me 5 cans of olive.
If I say I don't want, I do. It's just part of my
I'm just
love.
sneaky with love.
I also like the way the study room was turned into a crisis room with several whiteboards, maps, boxes of paperwork, and clocks set to different time zones in order to handle a beef between 2 local community colleges. You know, I really think that it was reminiscent of the first episode of season 5. Is that when the study room hasn't been used because everybody left Greendale and everyone's
Since it's at night and it's kind of I can see
it has
that
the same
a little
vibe.
bit. Sure.
Other things I found funny in this episode include the fact that Frankie rests half her brain at a time when she sleeps.
I
like
only rest half my brain at a time. Go.
Yeah, like a dolphin does, in case I didn't know. I didn't know that. I'm not a big fan of dolphins.
Yeah, they've got to keep one side awake so they can be ready to rape at any time.
Yeah, dolphins are not
They
good
rape
people.
humans. They sexually assault humans.
They will hump whatever comes in their path, Zach.
Yeah.
And they know that they're doing it.
And we're scared of sharks. At least they have the decency to put you out of your misery.
Yeah. They don't hump till you're dead.
Would you rather be eaten and killed by a shark or f***ed by a dolphin?
Eaten and killed by a shark.
There's no way. I don't know.
Do you know, how are you going to look your children in the face when you got f***ed by a dolphin? You had a dolphin dick in and around you.
I'm having trouble finding the problem with what you're saying.
They at school. My hero is the dolphin that assaulted my dad, because that's what a real man.
Yeah. Spits in my face. Lily leaves me
for a dolphin.
Lily leaves me for a dolphin, for the same dolphin, the dolphin that f***ed me and was like, "Nah, I'm good." But what about that? Jesus.
Oh boy.
Remember
Vicky
when
and
we
Dave's,
used to be timid about saying stuff like that?
Yeah. I've really been letting the fly today since Bebop. They've just been oozing out of me. So it's a Monday. I'm fresh full of
on a Monday.
Yeah. Vicky and Dave's small appearance.
For the first time in the recording history of the show, sorry, we're never going to get through this email, sorry. Artie, you shouldn't have spent so much time talking about potatoes. This is the first time we've recorded this show when it truly is Monday.
Yeah.
And it comes out on Monday.
Is it?
I don't know.
Who cares? Vicky and Dave's small appearance being interrupted by Frankie. That was all a bit. That's called art, everyone.
Yeah. RT.
Elroy's reaction to hearing that Frankie doesn't own a TV. That was one of my favorite moments of the whole show. I had to pause it. I laughed so hard. Yeah.
I have a funny tidbit about that from the commentary. When we get to that point of the episode, I'll bring it up. Yeah.
Small thing, but I wish they would have brought back the original City College Dean actor to be the narrator for the hit ad against Greendale. He would have done such a great job. That would have been really funny.
Yeah.
It would have been really funny.
It would.
I missed the sexual tension between he and the dean.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty hot. It was pretty hot. What breed was Ruffles? Not a Staffordshire Terrier.
I don't know.
But a different kind of terrier was the real one.
Ruffles have ridges.
Heyo. What is the tagline for Virtue Good? We see it when Elroy and Britta are bonding.
We're not
over
good,
Natalie's
we're
friend.
virtue good. Or like we're better than good, we're virtue good. Something like that.
Visual new.
Vugo.
Vugo. Where was the taco found?
in a
We've
file.
said it a bunch of times.
But I'm not even going to answer it again.
Come on, Artie.
Come on.
File fies. How many puppies
Brandon
with
move.
how many fathers did Abed's attack ad claim Ruffles had? It was like
12
20
with 5 or something.
I thought it was
Maybe
like
more
20
like 20
something
Yeah.
with 5 fathers. Maybe it was like 17.
Okay.
I'm gonna rest on 17.
All right. Meet in the
Never
middle.
hit on a soft 16. This episode feels both
Jesus.
ridiculous and grounded at the same time. Which not like sex hit, like 21.
I thought you
like
meant
blackjack.
never hit on a soft 16-year-old.
No.
But once they're firmly 16, things start
like
to loosen up
in
a little
blackjack,
bit.
you don't hit on a.
You
soft
don't hit on a
16.
16-year-old when you're playing blackjack.
No.
But after
You don't want to be
Fair game.
distracted. This episode feels both ridiculous and grounded at the same time, which gives me season 1 vibes, even though tonally and visually it doesn't look like season 1 at all. Anyways, can't wait to hear your thoughts, Artie. Here are the answers. Ruffles is a border terrier.
Okay.
It's not good, it's virtue good.
There you go.
In a filing cabinet under things that would otherwise get filed straight to my thighs. And Zach, I should have stuck with my gut. It was 27 puppies with 5 fathers.
Wow.
I'm going to give that to us.
You didn't say 27, though.
I think I said 28.
No, you said 20.
I said 20-something, and I think I said 28.
You may have said 20-something. You did not say 28.
Alan, can you run back the tape, please?
Alan, you listen to me.
Alan.
He does not control you. Alan.
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 Alan's not our intern.
Alan.
Alan's the dog that's outside, and we're trying to get him. Yeah. That's all our trivia for this
That's
week.
one of my favorite things we've ever done is us yelling Alan in unison, trying to compete for the attention of the fictional
key
Alan.
grip of our show.
Yeah. That's the emails.
That's the emails.
I'm having a good time today.
You know what?
What?
I'm clinched. I'm
Yeah.
loose.
Well, no, you got to be one or the other.
That's what you'd think. I didn't say what was clinching.
Let's move on to our next segment. It's time to find out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody, it's one of my favorite times of the week. Let's find out what he's going to muster up this time. It's time to find out, did Steven watch the episode this week?
This week. That was a callback, Zach.
What? To a different podcast?
Yeah.
You just sounded like you were about to lead the main character of a Disney film to their destiny.
Come with me, I'll show you the world beyond what your eyes have seen before.
It's time to
Pulls
find
back
out, did
curtain
Steven watch
to
the
unveil-
episode
yeah.
this week? How are you feeling?
I don't really know. It's a bit of a bottle episode, which usually makes it a little easier, but
think you
sometimes
can
I
do
get
it.
lost in the
It's
weeds.
certainly not as stuffed as something like cooperative calligraphy or polygraphy. I feel
Sure.
like there's a pretty easy story to tell. Let me
You
get
know,
your clock up. As
I'm
always.
gonna unleash my inner Ruffle. I'm gonna have some babies, buy some dogs, and we're gonna see how this goes.
at least 5.
At least 5.
I'm gonna put 20 seconds on the hourglass, as I often do. Are you ready?
You know what I was thinking about recently, Zach?
Huh. What were you
You have a
thinking
much
about?
easier job when you do this than I do.
Why do you say that?
Because you do it, like, literally directly after watching it.
Yes.
And I do it, like, 3 podcasts after watching it.
I would argue that there are other things that bring it closer to scale because I'm not as familiar with Cowboy Bebop.
Zach,
and
at this
it's an
point, you've
episode-
seen the Cowboy Bebop episodes as many times as I've seen the season 6 episodes.
That's fair, but I still feel like an episode of sitcom television, even as dense as Community can be, is a pretty easy A, B, C story. These guys do this where, like, there's a whole, like, espionage to track. Shut up, Steven. I work just... You want to have this argument? You want to talk about who works harder around these parts?
Every day, Zach churns and churns and churns his water wheel to power my Wi-Fi all the way here in Chicago.
You know what? For that, you've got 18 seconds on the clock this week. There's
I
20
gave you
seconds
like
on the
30
clock.
today.
There's no seconds on any clock. It's a stopwatch. 3, 2, 1. Go.
Crisis alert, it's 3 a.m. and Annie got an email because they're going to run a smear campaign on the school for giving a dog a degree. So she brings everyone down there. The dean's getting catfished by some Japanese teens. They wanted to give Jeff olives because it's funny. Frankie's like, guys, don't worry. Let's just not have hope. Let's find out, because they gave a degree to a dog, but they didn't because there was library fee. So they actually run an ad.
You got really close.
I did.
You got really close.
I fumbled it.
Little details. I would have liked for you to have said that the kids that were catfishing the dean, that they were impersonating Jeff. Mm-hmm. And I would have liked you have gotten to the ending, but that was pretty good. I mean, you know what? I think I'm gonna say that is an A- relative to Greendale.
Thank you. I'll take that relative to Greendale.
Good job. What's
Thank
next?
you,
Let's
buddy.
talk about some favorite funny moments.
You want to just rapid fire machine gun these
because
back and forth?
I've got a little bit of a list.
Yeah. I am Jeffrey, best friend of Dean.
The dean and Chang getting excited over the concept of cookie room.
Yeah, that was really good. Chang's I have a right to be here. That was really funny.
The dean does something like this twice in the episode. I've got them both on the list. The first is, did we give a degree to a dog? And he just is silent.
Yeah, his whole demeanor this whole episode is pretty flawless.
So good. Your turn.
A lot of these are just things from the texting catching thing.
It's hard not to write everything down.
But 5 cans of olives.
5 cans.
5 cans.
Jeff wants me to make an attack ad. So why is he a pedophile?
Yeah, that was good.
He'll workshop it. That was fun.
When Frankie said, "I don't own a TV," and Elroy glared at her, and just the right amount of time. That
Something
was well
that
done.
only the Community Season 6 could do, because it's just the right amount of time, but it's still significantly longer than they would have been able to do.
Well,
on
and I'll
another
say
show.
this episode's shorter than last week's, and it feels like a perfect amount.
It's still about 3 minutes longer than a network episode would have been allowed to run. But you could trim the fat a little bit, and this would have been, Communities talks about this being an episode that really shows that it's going to be a different kind of show, a different kind of format this year. But I feel like this feels pretty classic Community, even with those things being different.
I feel like you could put this episode in season 5 and it would
feels
work
like
just as well.
I like this better than the school-based episodes in season 5.
Yeah.
Like the non-event episode, school-based episodes. I think it's really good, and I think it's pretty quick and fast the way that these episodes need to be. Next thing I wrote down, again, the dean, when they say something and they need him to reassure them, and he makes a really awkward face and thumbs up and turns to the side. Those moments make me laugh so hard. Jim Rash, his physical comedy. Jim Rash is just off the charts funny in this episode.
Yeah, I think when the maybe, and this is a high praise statement. Maybe my hardest Dean laugh this whole episode is when Ruffles barks in
Jesus.
the ad, and it scares him so bad. It was so real and so funny.
And so real to the point that they did a great job getting the dog to actually bark.
Yeah.
And Jim Rash did a great job of looking genuinely startled by it.
It was so funny.
Next thing, I just wrote down everything olives. Obviously, that whole plot
Yeah.
line. But once the olives are introduced to the scenario, things really go off.
Yeah, I contrary
few
to what
more. Do you have
Artie
more?
believes, I thought that Chang was really funny this whole episode too. I
agree.
loved Chang's little non sequiturs. I also damn it, I didn't write it down, but there was one of the Britta jokes that I did like. Not my favorite Britta episode, but
No.
yeah.
If I was gonna cut something out to make this episode able to air on NBC,
Britta shitting her pants.
I know exactly what I'd cut out, and it'd be the whole music video sequence.
Yeah, not really. I don't
It's
think that's
kind of
necessarily
cool,
funny.
but it doesn't
Yeah.
really have anything to do with anything.
If it was gonna be a musical episode and they broke into that,
I love Gilly. It's just like we have talked about. Community Season 6 has time to do gags that they just come up with. And sometimes it works really well, like the extended shot of Elroy staring at Frankie. But other times it's kind of like, would I be missing anything if the episode took that out? I also wrote down, I love Frankie's whole, Jeff thinks I sound like Abed. I bet Britta thinks I sound like Chang. And I think Chang thinks I sound like Distant Explosions. He's unstable, right? Yep. Love it.
that was funny.
I still got 2 more.
Yeah, hit me with them.
I've still got The James Spader impression, he did a good job. I do wish he'd leave, though.
Yeah, that was
He's
good.
just waving to him. And then, who are you? I'm the plumber. Why?
Why?
Those are mine.
I'll show you why.
Steven, we've talked about this episode once before on Advanced Community Studies with Kevin Lanigan. Really fun. I've been really fond of this episode from the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
This time around so far with season 6, I really like the premiere. I think I'm closer to neck and neck with the premiere and this one on which I like better for the season. Because I think the season premiere does a really great job. But this is an episode that easily someone who is like the last couple of seasons of Community don't have anything going for them. I'd be like, this is the last season of Community when they were on Yahoo. And here's a great Community episode.
Yeah, I think this one's really funny. I think I might like it a little bit better than Ladders, but not by much.
You see what I mean? Ladders has risen up for me. I think that's a really solid episode.
Yeah, there's some really funny bits in there. I like this episode a lot. There are a couple things that I don't love, but almost everything works for me, and I think the plot's hilarious.
Nitpicky in the way that our golden age of Community problems were?
Yeah.
In this
I mean,
episode,
now
don't
I
you
think there are a few more, like, this episode doesn't crack my top 10 or top 15 by any means.
I agree.
I think the problems are a little bigger than the ones that are in those episodes, but I think that I like it as much as I enjoy watching this as much as I enjoy watching most episodes of the show.
This goes along with episodes like I've brought up this episode a lot as one of my like unsung favorites is the drug awareness play episode.
Yeah.
It's not one of the like showstopper Community episodes, but it is one of my favorite episodes to just hang out with these characters without anything huge necessarily needing to go on. And especially it's one of my favorite episodes hanging out with this group of characters in season 6. I think a couple of things that I'll say superlatively about this show. The Dean subplot in this episode is my favorite Dean plot of the entire series.
It's great.
It beats out Kiss from a Rose for me. It beats out so many great Dean moments because I have this this is my headcanon. I feel like when Jeff enrolled for Greendale, he wrote down a random collection of numbers as a fake phone number because he thought that he didn't want to be called. And I feel like this catfishing thing has been going on since season 1, episode 1, explaining why the Dean is so lofty and flirty and touchy on Jeff.
Yeah.
Because in his mind, he's getting all kinds of green flags from Jeff on the phone. I feel like this subplot is genius because it contextualizes the whole relationship between these two characters in a different way. I love it so much. And the Dean is so funny. They make such great use of the... Well, let's just dive into it because it does it right away. The episode, I think, in both the beginning of the episode with Annie and Frankie and then the Dean and the way that they visualize texting conversations is stellar, I think.
Yeah, I like it a lot in this episode.
Versus when it was like Annie's face and Ladders. I think this is so true because shows are always trying to like, this is how people communicate now. And a lot of times when TV shows do like texting chains, it's fake. I've got to call out the helmet that Frankie was wearing on her head while she's asleep. It looked like a VR helmet.
Yeah.
Or a bike helmet.
Worlds within worlds.
I just feel like this feels really true to what texting someone is like.
Yeah.
Do you agree? I think this is a really good way to do this.
I do too.
Everything from the monotone way that they read off their own text messages, I think that's really funny.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, other shows have done this, but I think this does it well. And it's less cartoony than a lot of the shows do it.
That's what I'm saying. I think when other shows do this, it feels fakey. This feels a lot more real and is still super funny. Mm-hmm. The Dean's whole thing, or everyone's thing, if the Dean can handle notifying the others or not. And I love the way that it visualizes Annie and the Dean, and then they bring in the fake Jeff number, and Annie's like, what's that number? And then it splits again, and you see Annie, Dean, and the kids pretending to be Jeff, and then you see Dean and the kids pretending to be Jeff again. You see them twice on the same screen.
It's so funny.
To show you the different conversations that are happening. I think it's really, really well put together and planned by the team at Community. I think they did a really great job with this sequence.
Yeah, I think it's really smart. Yes, Dean, this is me, Jeffrey. You are best friend.
One of my favorite moments in this is before that moment when Annie's like, that is not Jeff's number. And the Dean's like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. He's like, Jeff, I didn't know that you didn't want Annie to have your number. Bro, I just secret that way with love. You know my style, semicolon, semicolon. And I love the way that they vocalize emojis. The way that they say meow, meow. And then you can even hear the Asian school kids being like, meow, meow,
Meow.
like making fun of it to
so
themselves.
Cute.
Or when the dean is like, you're always so nice in person, but in real life, snowman, he says, brr.
Brr.
I think that's so funny. Gosh, I love the subplot. I love Jim Rash.
So good.
He just shines. I'm so glad that as the show loses some people, there's so much more room for Jim Rash to prove that he's the funniest fucking person on this cast full of hilarious people.
Yeah, he's great. Shines through.
I do like the vibe of how this whole episode takes place early in the morning. It changes the vibe. Everybody, I don't know, nobody wants to be there. I don't really know how to voice it out. But I like the vibe of this episode and how they really commit to the time of day that it is, that they're kind of like working against the clock, against this thing. I think it works really well.
I do too, and I like that it wasn't, I don't know, I think it does add to it that it's taking place, because then, no one else is at the school. Mm-hmm. It feels a little bit more like...
Which... I'm sure this episode saved a ton of money after the first two episodes had some more elaborate settings, some outdoor scenes, a lot of extras in that first episode, all the animation in the second episode. This is a great way for Community to do what it's best at while also like saving a few bucks. I love the joke. Yeah.
And we're not quite to when they're on the screen right this second, but why the are Dave and Vicky there? It's middle of the night.
No, we're lucky they keep calling us in. I think they were tasked with bringing the supplies to make it look like a situation room because Vicky's holding a globe and Dave's holding a box. Mm-hmm. Good question. I feel you there. I really like
executive producer Rob Schraub, friend of the show. I can say it
third time. I really like.
Yeah, I think that I love that.
Alan?
Chang's wearing
Alan?
his red.
I've already forgotten.
Alan.
I thought it was really funny how Chang comes in. He's like, ugh, 3 a.m. I can't believe you did this. And Annie's like, how did you find out about this? I have a right to be here.
Don't downplay Chang's incredible. He comes in with a fire, Zach. He's like,
yeah,
it's 3 a.m. in the freaking morning, Edison.
Yeah. What do you think about British shitting her pants? You don't like it?
I don't.
Well, I have a couple of things. I don't hate it. And I both like and don't like how obvious they make it that she shat her pants. Because there's no sound, there's no everyone going like, ugh, oh my God. Mm. I feel like you could watch this and not even completely realize that that's what she's done. And I kind of like that. I don't know. I don't mind Britta in this episode.
Here's
I think
what I'll
because
say.
She's drunk and a mess.
Britta was working. Okay.
Yeah.
So, sure, she's going to take some shots. She's working at the bar. She doesn't give a shit.
End of the day, take a few more.
But does she look drunk enough to be shitting her pants, Zach? Have you ever been shit your pants drunk?
That's true. Do you think that might be because Gillian Jacobs does not drink and maybe doesn't play drunk as well? Level of drunk that she needs to be for this to happen?
Because you'd have to be, like, really drunk to shit your pants.
To shit your pants.
And she's not, it doesn't seem that drunk.
I don't see... Okay, let's talk about the level of shit exiting her ass in this moment, okay? I think this is more of a thing where she's like, I don't know, weirdly trying to pull some type of like sobriety test thing, but is drunk enough that she just like does the weird thing with her arm and puts her leg up, and it's like I dislodged a fart which has let some poop out into my underwear situation. I don't think we're talking a whole turd. I don't think we've got a diarrhea puddle in there. I think it's like I can feel wet.
Well, but here's what I'm going to say. There was enough for her to warrant taking off her underwear and her pants.
If you've got any level of shit that you're aware of on your underwear and pants, okay, she's a very pretty woman. She's working the bar. Maybe she's wearing some attractive underwear. So it's really easy for it to get also on the pant.
Sure. Still, even if all that were true, Zach, I still don't like it.
No, it's not super funny. And honestly, as much as I like Britta, the couple of things that don't work in this episode are Britta things and an Annie thing. I would have much rather her just been more involved with this central storyline.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like how the episode takes a few minutes to even tell us what the main issue is. I think when the episode first came out, there was at least a trailer that had the "Did we give give a degree to a dog?" Because I think I remember seeing that and being like, "That sounds really funny. I'm excited for that one." But I like that they take a little while to get into it. That there's this kind of a what's actually going on. I love that the dean says meow to Jeff, and Jeff's
Yeah,
like,
from the second the dean walks in after getting his like "I love you" validation from Jeff tonight, he's so excited.
Yeah. So they read the news. Someone tipped Annie off that City College is running an attack ad about the school at 7 a.m. Heard it's pretty bad. This is when you kind of have to... City College probably wouldn't do that, but I guess they were going to make a giant spider or something at one point. So maybe they would. What do you think it's cool that we're bringing back our old foe City College into the fold just a little bit? I think it's kind of cool.
I like it because I like the reasoning. I like that this is saying, okay, what Frankie's doing here is working. More people are enrolling.
But it's funny the joke that they make about really it's just nobody's ever graduating, so there's always more people being added to the same number.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I like to see City College. I feel like having City College kind of connects this second half of Community that feels a little bit disjointed from the first half of Community back together.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like, oh, I remember City College and the paintball episode and the space bus episode and always fighting against City College. And now City College is a little pissed at Greendale because they're kind of on an upswing.
Yeah, which is weird to say when like just one episode, like just 2 episodes ago, Greendale was like completely drunk.
Yeah, very drunk. Well, that helped morale a lot.
Do you think that they're showing more drinking on the show this year because they're on Yahoo Screen?
We talked about that. Because it felt weird in Ladders because there was so much of it. I don't know if they would have done that on NBC.
Was there any drinking or drugs last week?
I don't remember. I don't think so. What do you think about Chang and the Deborah thing? Does that make you laugh?
It's Brenda, but I think it's just funny enough.
I think it's funny too. I just love this season and last season that Chang just like stumbles off on an adventure that nobody asked for and everyone completely disregards it.
Yeah.
Everything he does and says when he was horribly injured last week or this week when he's doing sex crimes.
I got bit. There was alcohol last week. Even Abed was drinking wine.
At the game night or whatever.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like that I will give for the show. That didn't feel like a focus on drinking or getting drunk.
Oh, the focus was on the drinking. They knew that they put those cups down. People were going to see him.
What do you think about Abed in this episode? We don't get a ton of him, but I feel like he fits into his place in this situation really well.
Yeah, I think Abed, I mean, it's a little bit of a, let's just sit Abed here and let him edit a video. But what he says is funny when he's in it.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe they didn't want him to go too far so it wouldn't feel like him at the head of the Situation Room during the KFC episode. He kind of does the same thing, but it's as people start calling for what they need, and he calls out needing clocks with different times on them, a red phone, a big tabletop map with Nazi tanks or a Godzilla. That's funny.
Yeah.
But you're right. He just kind of does his thing. He's really tired. You can tell. You know what? I quite liked Jeff in this episode. I think he's funny. I think he's snarky, and we get back into the how Jeff can use his bad person skills to help the situation at hand. I do like even though it's so silly because it's about a dog that totally did get a degree at this school.
Yeah.
The way that there's a little bit of an argument of like what is right and wrong in handling this situation.
I think this is a great Jeff episode.
I do too. Let's talk about Elroy. We talked last week that the episode didn't end in a way that felt like he was always going to be around. Is what happens here that he's just been hanging around Greendale since? Do you think he's enrolling in classes? Because he just like stumbled upon Britta outside. Yeah, I don't think they were trying to say that he lived in the Greendale parking lot last week.
Why would he be there at 3 a.m.?
Well, I think he is now since the end of last week. But when Jeff found him last week, I don't think it was supposed to be in the Greendale parking lot.
It looked like the Greendale parking lot.
It was the Greendale parking lot, but Jeff got an address and went searching
Maybe
for
it's
it.
just a coincidence. Maybe the dean was walking out to his car and he saw this Winnebago and he said,
and he wrote down the address.
Yeah.
I like Elroy in this episode a lot more He gets a lot of funny moments. And even though it's kind of like, wait, why is this guy here? He's a good voice to have around. Keith David's voice is so funny. Having someone be an active part of the group that doesn't know anything at all about the history of the group and the people within it makes for some really funny jokes in this episode.
I think it's really funny. I think Elroy really shines in this one because he just gets to they don't force him in and now he's like a part of the study group. He's trying to help. He's just there because he saw Britta walking around pantsless and was like, well, that's not going to be good. So
Brenda, her thyroid's really
Brenda.
acting up. Got to give her some pants. What do you think of the attack ad where they find out the real issue is that they gave a degree to a dog? I think it's a really funny reveal because it hadn't been mentioned at this point.
Yeah, I think it's really funny.
If you just saw the title of this episode and saw everyone freaking out about it and didn't know it as the dog got a degree episode, man, this is one of those episodes I wish I could go back and watch knowing absolutely
Oh my
nothing
gosh,
about it.
yeah.
Because the Dean subplot, the first time I ever saw it, was just upsettingly hilarious.
Yeah.
It was just so stomach ache laughing funny. And then I wish I would have never known the dog thing, so that could have been a surprise too. Because that's one of the most Greendale things that they could think up of in a season 6 episode. The Dean's sad, dejected look after the ad plays. He looks like a little turtle when Frankie's like, did we give a degree to a dog? And he just says nothing and everything at the same time.
It's great.
And he's, oh my God. And I also think Elroy has some funny bits in this when he's like, oh, so this isn't City College, this is Greendale. That's bad. I'm going to get more pants. After a little commercial, now it's really the Situation Room. They've got all this stuff up. I really like the way that it fills in and I don't know, this isn't really an homage episode, but it kind of the setting adds another layer to it. All of the scribblings on walls or on the different types of dry erase boards and the maps. You can even see behind this map is the very bottom of the crisis alert model UN clock thing that they had in that episode.
Yeah, I feel like we used to call it out even more before, but we're kind of spoiled by just
there's
how
so
incredible.
much stuff. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Well, it's not impossible, but for what
the
we
set
do,
design crew just puts so much effort and work
what a
into
dream
it.
team.
Like,
Yeah.
because the spreadsheet there isn't nothing. Like, it actually says, like, students, transfers, like, news, like, all this. Like, it's actually supposed to be tracking the data that matters for right now. It's wild.
Truly the unsung heroes of the show because they have to come to task of whatever show they decide to be this week, and they always do. And now 100 episodes in, they're still not dropping the ball, even when it's not like a super high-stakes homage episode. They do a great job.
So many maps.
I love this reaction. The real fact of the matter, Frankie says, Dean Pelton, did we give a degree to a dog? And he's like, oh, I see you too. No, not that dog. That dog? Really funny. Also, is Britta just not drunk anymore?
I think she goes back to being drunk.
In the
She's
trailer
decided
later.
she wasn't there. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously for Jeff, the issue isn't did Greendale give a dog a degree, is can it be proved that happened, and can they counteract it in any way? Which is smart. That's what I'd be doing in this situation, I
same.
feel like.
Well, and that's another thing, is this is not the first time that Jeff has been right in this situation.
And I mean, it's a shade. It's right with an apostrophe. It's right with an asterisk is what I meant to say.
It's got an apostrophe too, somewhere around there. It's contracting.
Another thing I'll say, Frankie, what a great addition to this cast.
Yeah.
She absolutely shines in this episode. She is the character that you need for this bottle episode to not feel emptier because of the people we've left. It's 3 episodes in, and she absolutely in every way fits in with the rest of the actors and just knows perfectly how to deliver the lines that she's given. I think Paget Brewster does a phenomenal job with what she's given.
Yeah, she's really good in this episode. She's really good in general, but I think this episode, as much as the first episode, but in different ways, really she shines through.
I really like Abed's attack ad joke calling Jeff a pedophile, and everyone just shocked by hearing that. And he's like, just demonstrating the medium.
I really like the board that Jeff has behind him with like the orange lettering, it's like the see-through board. That's like super nice. Why does Greendale have that?
It's really funny to hear Jeff postulate about what they're going to attack Ruffles for. They're going to go after the dog. And he's like, well, maybe Ruffles thinks cat turds are delicious. And maybe she barks just a little bit more at the blackmail man.
That was really funny.
And Elroy's reaction shot of that.
What?
Talking about Ruffles being a unfit parent.
Well, and that's the thing. I guess I like kind of get why Annie's upset, but not really. It's not like Jeff is even saying bad things about City College. He's just saying, are we going to take this dog's word for it that we got a degree?
Yep. So Jeff gets Britta to leave and not be too involved to go get coffee for everyone, and Elroy goes along with her. And somehow they end up alone in his trailer together.
Well,
it's not made to be anything weird,
pants.
but it is a little weird. Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to get coffee. Why do they go to Elroy's trailer?
Well, because they're his pants. That's what he says.
I think it's an adorable moment when Jeff says something kind of evil about fixing the truth, and Annie's saying, no, bad. And Jeff gives this adorable, like, ain't I a scamp smile that I love very, very much.
Jeff and Annie shippers unite.
I'm not, but that was a cute moment.
Mm-hmm. Zach's a closet Janny.
In a lot of ways. The dean giving his thumbs up, and we did not give a degree to a dog, right? He like, if you say so.
So funny.
He doesn't know.
He has no idea.
And then Chang gets this little subplot here. I like they just completely dismiss everything he says. He says something absolutely shocking. I'm going to go create a really bad porno at City College. We should embarrass them, right? Jeff's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And he walks away and then realizes what he said. Wait, what? It's funny. And
well,
the
and it's not
backward
enough
shot
that he's
of the
going to go
clear,
shoot
dry
a
erase board
porn.
is also
He's going to
cool.
shoot a really gross one.
Well, I don't think he has to go out of his
good.
way to make that happen. I love this scene. Now we get back. It's so funny that the dean and Jeff are in the same room. So the dean's like, I'm going to be a bad little boy and text Jeff the way we've been texting while he's right there. And of course, Jeff is always on his phone texting, so it completely tracks.
Yeah.
The dean is so thirsty. It's inspiring to watch you work. You are inspiring too.
In all caps.
And this brings up the olive thing. I love it. These guys, they make the dean bring Jeff 5 huge cans of olives. The dean's apparently done
5 cans?
5 cans. And apparently he's done this before. And Jeff, of course, acts really shocked and surprised by this. And the kids in Japan really cleverly talk him into thinking, don't worry, if I say I don't like them, I'm just pretending I don't like olives.
It's just my style to be secret.
And the dean, like, just the way Jim Rash uses his body, the extra skip in his step to go get those cans of olives. And I love that he's the dean of this school, and he is under attack, and he needs to be on top of this situation, but he might be in a situation to be on top of Jeff.
Exactly.
So he's got to go get those olives. Yeah. And next, what do you want to say about the Elroy and Britta scene? It's kind of cute to watch them bond over each other. It's funny, the joke when Britta's surprised that he's heard of this band, Natalie is Freezing. And he's like, why? Because I'm black? Oh, no, it's because you're old. That's a funny joke. But then the
So
music
you're telling
video
me
sequence. What?
That Britta is drunk enough to shit her pants.
Yes.
And to have a whole hallucination.
I don't think we're supposed to read into it as that. I don't think we're really supposed to read into it as much. I think it's just like that.
But she's not too drunk to have a thought of, well, I hope that this dog did degree because then the school would be a joke and everyone would stop being so mean to me about being a joke. Those are different levels of drunk.
No,
that's not shit your pants drunk.
No.
That's existential crisis drunk. 2 different things.
I think the music video is really cool and it's a nice moment, and Gillian really shines in like the outfit and in the little dancing that she gets to do. It's a really, like, God, I am such a simp for Gillian Jacobs.
Me too, but why? Like, I'm happy it's there.
There's no point to it, really, and it's not that funny.
She's the plumber. Why?
But they went to so much trouble. They, like, wrote and performed a whole song. They even made a different version of the Winnebago set so they could pull it away in layers for the music video. And it's a cool effect. Keith David tapping his hand. It's a cool effect. It works well. But, like, what was the point?
I have no idea what the reason behind this is. It's not bad behavior.
I mean, look, Gillian looks great.
Yeah.
And it is funny when it makes the cut. I think all it is like that transformative feeling when you're a little turnt that your favorite song can have versus how you actually look and sound singing and moving along to it.
I can get behind that.
I don't think she's hallucinating the stuff that she sees.
I can pick up those breadcrumbs.
But it's just not that funny.
No.
You know what? These guys are going to need coffee if they're going to keep that dog from having a degree. There are serious things at stake. I get that now. The scene between Annie and Frankie, also very good. Frankie gets some really great dialogue all throughout the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about hope and why there's no point in having hope and why truth is bad. And not even in the same, like, Jeff kind of way. Frankie comes at things from a different perspective that I think is interesting.
But what do you hope is true?
Oh, God, no, I never hope. Hope is pouting in advance. Hope is Faith's richer, bitchier sister. Hope is the deformed, addict-bound, incest monster offspring of entitlement and fear. My life results tripled the year I gave up hope and every game on my phone that had anything to do with farming. What's true will be true, Annie. Our job is to deal with that truth.
So you know it's a good scene because we're just reading her say it because it's that good.
Yeah, we're just listening to it. It's a very Harmonian speech. It's a very Dan Harmon, because, like, the pointed, like, making it really existential and then having, like, the little jab at Farmville type games. That's very Dan Harmon, I feel.
Well, and imagine this in the voice of Rick or Morty. Hope is the incest baby of a, you know.
I can imagine it.
Yeah, let me do more of
And then she follows that. I feel like what people remember is that hope speech that she gives. That's a pretty, if you're going to call Frankie moments iconic, that's one of them. I think the moment of her being confused about everybody saying that she or other people sound like somebody else, I think that's even funnier.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Especially the way that she just has Chang pegged and the way that everybody dismisses him and she's just so aware that that he's crazy. I also, following that up with, oh, look, it's a file that says Ruffles. Annie, do you think that's our guy? I do. Paget Brewster is really funny in this episode.
And I think the character of Frankie is, like, just the right amount more, like, mature that she can be funny when she's, like, not. You know?
And, well, because that Ladders episode made it so perfectly clear that, yeah, she's serious and mature, but in such a way that she could never be in a real job position of authority because she's, like, cartoony. I'm the boss around here. But this is a cartoon school that needs someone to say I'm the boss around here. And really, well, the Annie problem's coming up fairly soon. My problem is not that Annie is upset about this, even though there are some reasons to think, well, the Annie 2 weeks ago was so on board with how weird Greendale is. Maybe it's just it makes her feel that her accomplishments mean little if anybody can get a degree or anything can get a degree.
I guess, but Annie, you've been there for 6 years. Like,
but that's some Republican ass attitude. That's some like, they shouldn't get food stamps because I had to work hard for my money. I'm a liberal. Give the dog a degree.
Yeah, Annie, if you had taken the same classes, you'd have a degree too. Like, it's not our fault that you wasted time being a pharmaceutical pin salesman.
Yep.
Shit, Annie. God
I don't
damn.
mind Annie getting upset. The only issue, and this is why it's just like it'll come up later. This is why it's just like a small nitpick, is that they make us, of course Annie's not going to leave. It's
Annie,
episode
if she was
going
to leave, should have left at the end of season 1 or in season 2 or even season 3.
It's episode 3 of season 6. She's one of the 4 main characters we have left. I don't think she's going anywhere.
Like, isn't her whole thing, oh, well, I don't want us to be like City College. Then why are you going to go to City College? Because they don't give degrees to dogs.
The Ruffles
Go to a
attack
real
ad
college.
is also pretty good. All of the made up stuff to make Ruffles
Ask this
seem like
bunny.
a bad dog. Impersonated a lobster. Ruffles, not a lobster, not a good dog. And what do you think? Are you super familiar with James Spader? Do you think the impression was spot on? Because it's pretty spot on.
I think it's pretty spot on. I mean, when I first heard it, my thought wasn't James Spader, but then when he said James Spader, I was like, yeah, it kind of sounds like James Spader.
So
It's
the
not as
story
scary
behind
as
that
James
was
Spader is
that
these days.
I forget who, either Rob Schraub or Chris McKenna had a friend that did a really good James Spader impression. And they said that it was so good that he had like a young Spader and an older like Blacklist Spader.
Nice.
And that they made this joke just so his friend could do his little party trick. And the person that they're like, I wish he would leave, that's just some extra. That's not the guy who did the voice.
Oh, they should have let the actual guy do it.
I know.
Maybe he didn't look...
That guy looks like he'd be showing up for this job and wanted to stick
Yeah.
around for snacks or something.
Do you like impersonations, Zach? Do you find that funny when comedians do impersonations?
I think it's funny and good when people have the green light to try
Uh-huh.
and it doesn't have to sound good. Or on SNL, it can be really funny. But if someone is like, I am an impressionist, here's 50 voices that I can do, I'd rather they were able to go get a voice acting job because
Yeah.
they're obviously great at it. It's not really fun for me to watch people just do straight impressions. But it's fun if someone's like, I don't know, if
Playing a
comedians are
character.
joking around and someone comes up and they're like, can I do a Robin Williams or whatever? I think that can be fun. Mm-hmm. Olive reveal.
Like from the
Classic
audience, someone
moment.
comes and interrupts their set. It's like, hey, can I do a Robin Williams impression real quick?
What's your Robin Williams? Oh.
No, mine is 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck. It's my go-to.
Well, I just think he's very rushed today. I've got to talk about this. That's not a very good one, but like when he's doing his comedy, I can't do it. But it's
All right,
fun
here,
to
I
try.
can do my best one.
Uh-huh.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
But you're just saying it in your voice.
It's not
There's
your
a
fault.
difference between being able to repeat the way someone says something and being able to do their voice.
Ooh, Mrs. Doubtfire.
There it is. Now say it's not your fault like that.
Ooh, it's not your fault.
So the dean brings Jeff the 5
Goodwill
cans.
Doubtfire coming this spring.
I love how they don't oversell how funny this moment is. The dean is so happy to present them to him. And Joel delivers so perfectly his whole speech of like, I'm really confused by this. This isn't the first time you've done this. And the dean just so dreamily looking at him. Jeff, I'm so confused by this.
The dean all along thinking this is just confirming.
Just some sexy little game they're playing.
Is this code? I don't know.
Well, he told him if I say I don't like Olive, it's just because I'm secret with love, bro.
It's his style.
And the dean's perfect. Is like, is this code for something? And the way he breathily, I don't know, and I don't care. And he turns his
The
head
way he
all
like
the way.
turns his head.
Yeah, God, I love it. I would be fine if the whole episode was that somehow. I would.
Yeah.
Because honestly, even though the "did we give a dog a degree" idea is hilarious, this episode to me is the Dean texting Jeff episode.
Yeah.
Period. That's why I tell people that they should watch this episode if they discount season 6, because that's just so funny. It's such a funny character bit that it feels so essential to the show that
It
it's
really
just one of
does.
those hilarious things that's too good to be true. So how do we get from this is like the loophole, how we can get out of this, to Annie being like, now that's the last straw, I'm leaving?
Because she's like, what? It doesn't matter that the truth is that we didn't give a dog a degree.
Isn't that the point?
We could have.
That's the point.
Not anymore.
I don't get it. It really feels like, I don't know, maybe they don't know how to end this without like a conflict, so they felt like they needed to throw something like this in there. I don't like it very much because I think the episode so far has been pitch perfect. And
Yeah,
then
and
like
then Annie
they've
just
solved
loses
the
her shit over
problem
nothing.
and then she gets upset and storms off. I don't know.
And so now she's like, well, that City College ad may be a lie, but at least it doesn't do a technicality.
Dragging this dog's name through the mud. And then I had the thought, Annie's been going to the school for 6 years. She's going to transfer to another school? What credits does she still need? What? Couldn't she just be like, I'm going to be done?
Does she even need credits
I don't
anymore?
think
She was
so.
already working in the field that she came here to get a
I
job
don't think
in.
so. So why would she need to transfer? Couldn't she just be like, I'm going to not go here anymore? And then they'd be
It
like,
doesn't make any sense.
okay, we can still hang out. No, it doesn't make sense. Another great Elroy speech. I did forget the candy cigarettes. Candy cigarettes being evil. That is kind of evil.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's
Maybe
putting
fake
that
cigarettes were cool.
cigarette. Oh, of course they were cool. That's putting that cigarette imagery. Now I know why. Like my mom was like, "You can't have this," and I was like, "But they're candy."
Yeah,
I get
toy
it
guns
now.
and candy cigarettes were a no-no in my home.
That's something. This is kind of off topic, but on the new Boy Meets World podcast that recently started, they were talking about like an episode having water guns and it feeling weird to have kids making gun jokes the way that they did in the 90s that they couldn't do anymore. And
Sure.
they talked about in their household, they don't use the word gun around kids. They call things like blasters and like lasers and like
Wow.
sprayers. And I think that's kind of cool.
I can rock with that.
Like a water gun. You know what I mean?
Well,
It makes the link with weapon and toy.
but how are they going to know what it is when you're giving them their gun when they turn 12?
12? You make them wait till you're 12. I say 12 for a cell phone.
Well, the girls.
9 for a gun.
The boys get it as soon as they can hold one.
Right. As soon as I can make them hold one with their feeble baby hands.
Yeah, I give my babies a gun.
So we get this moment where after he makes the thing about... He makes the reference to the Flava Flav reality show, and Frankie says...
Flavor Flav!
I don't think he said Flavor Flav.
Sir, do not...
Okay, sorry. You clearly know your Flava of love.
I know my flavor of
Is it
love.
not Flava Flav?
It's Flava Flav.
He just says it wrong.
He goes, Flavor Flav! Yeah.
This moment, Keith David staring after Frankie says, I don't even own a TV. Okay, so Dan Harmon on the commentary talked about like pulling a face and showing Keith David and being like, I want you to do this. And then he was like, it was kind of a learning experience because in some ways, someone like Keith David, he went to Juilliard. You don't tell him what to do, and you let him do what he's going to do. So they had trouble getting like a long, sustained shot of him pulling the right face. So this shot is of him being given direction.
Are you serious?
This is B-roll of like Bobcat Goldthwait, like giving him direction, and that's just his
so
face.
fucking funny.
And it's the perfect face to pull for the moment. Because Dan was like, everybody keeps talking about how funny this moment is, and people really love it, but we barely could get the thing out of him.
That's so funny.
The Annie conflict is just such a non-starter in this episode. I don't think this episode needs something like that to be as
The
good
one
as it
thing
was.
that I like about it is that nobody really gives a shit. Like, they're all like,
well, they're sad when she actually storms away, but I think they take it about as seriously of a threat as we do until she actually leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I also like the runner of first, like, what's Jeff trying to wrestle from Annie?
The documents, the dog's transcripts.
Yeah, he's trying to wrestle that from Annie, and Annie pulls up being physically overpowered by a male teacher, which is really funny. And then the Britta
But also,
get
there's
her.
no one there but them, so who can...
Right. But Britta get her, and Britta's asleep on the couch. Frankie get her, and Frankie jumps into action, I guess. But Frankie doesn't really. She doesn't say something to make Annie stay. She's like, well, if we can get this done and it means you leave, we're good. Bye. And she does. She leaves.
Yeah, and I get Frankie's point. She's like, okay, if we take the high road, but then we, like, fail as a school, who cares? Like, what's the point if we're gonna lose out in this?
And maybe even in the world of the show, the threat was never that Annie was going to leave and not come back. Everyone kind of took it as an empty threat, but then Annie's offended by how little Frankie cares about that. Because, you know, it's one of those situations where you're like, you know, like Steven, when you and I get in one of our lovers' quarrels, and I'm like, I'm going to leave, and I'm never going to come back. I'm going right out that door, and you're never going to see this baby blue again. One of them's blue. The other one sees the past.
I thought that's what you called your asshole. Baby blue.
Baby brown. You're never going to see this again, because you say something like that, not because you're actually going to leave. You want everyone to be like, oh my God, no, please stay. And Annie's not going to get this, so she actually storms off in a huff.
Yeah.
And another great Elroy speech. First, Annie's Jesus talking about how expensive candy bars are now. I thought was funny.
That extra 30 cents.
They couldn't say Jesus like that before. on NBC. Now they can
really?
sneak it in. You know, there's a couple times in season 6 where they get an uncensored.
Really?
Yeah, and I almost thought, does that mean that we should too?
We should get one.
Just one?
Not
They
that we
get a
haven't had
couple. Plenty. We've had
scads of that have slipped through.
Yeah. Scads. So Annie leaves, and I do like the moment because Annie leaves and everyone's bummed out about it, but what Elroy is still stuck on is the candy bar thing. So he gives this very long speech just droning on about candy and about things being expensive or like a bucket 2 quarters. I don't even really know what he's trying to say. He's just like postulating to be cute. Yeah. And everyone is like, bro.
I think I'm going to start using that, though. Oh, nice. That and $1.70 will get you a candy bar.
Everyone's going to think you're 100 years old.
Good. Everyone respects someone who's 100. Shout out to the 100th episode of Community.
Yeah,
Thought I forgot,
extravaganza, 100th episode extravaganza, still coming at you. The celebrities can't wait to get
Special
out here.
Special guests
and,
waiting in the
and
wings. They're in the
ice
waiting
skate for
room.
you.
We're going to podcast first
We've
if we
got
have time.
Little Wayne. We've got Wayne
Little
Newton.
Wayne.
We've got
Newton's cradles. Those balls are just hitting back and forth in the waiting room. As soon as we let them in, you're going to hear that.
We've got Nabisco
kick.
Fig Newtons.
Hey, yo.
And back again, Sting. Just a big supporter. What's going on? Well, Annie's cleaning out her locker, and they have lockers?
Sometimes.
And I guess that's true because we've had like Abed at Rachel's locker doing the
locker
thing.
boy, locker boys,
locker.
Lock.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But Annie cleans out her locker, and what happens in this scene? What makes her decide to come back? Nothing. She literally just leaves.
Yet. She's
filling out her application for City College. I thought this was a quietly cute moment between Annie and Abed. That I don't know. They kind of solve this problem as quickly as they bring it up. They don't take it too seriously, but I kind of like that it's a quiet moment where Annie's like, Abed, I don't want to talk to you. And Abed says, okay. And then sits down to show her what they've done for her. It's a silly issue with a silly solution. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very small potatoes thing to get Annie to come back. But the video of Greendale getting ahead of the curve in a different way is really funny.
I'd like to be the bearer of bad news here.
Huh, what?
Well, the whole point of them finding out the dog didn't have a degree wasn't so they could do a smear ad. The smear ad was only if the dog did, in fact, get a degree from Greendale.
Yes.
They needed to do that. But because they found out it didn't, they were just going to call and have the ad pulled. Nothing bad was going to be said about anyone.
But I think that was the problem, was that, well, we did do that, though. Like, they did almost get a degree.
Yeah.
So we
But
shouldn't...
they still did. That hasn't changed.
What? They still did what?
Almost gave a dog a degree.
Right, but making the statement go away isn't like the truthful fix. Being open and honest about it, which they are, is. What's your problem?
I don't know.
This is a great thing. It's definitely the worst of the 3 commercials they make, 'cause it's just a static shot of the Dean. But his reaction when the dog barks, Jesus, really funny.
Good.
And it's funny because they bleep out the Dean saying shit here, but they definitely do get some uncensored later in the series.
That's great.
And I even like at the end the return of the James Spader voice going, Greendale Community College, you're already accepted. It's a cute ending. What are you going to do? Now we get the next day? What's the timeline here? Because
it's
it was early in the morning.
Day.
No, it was early in the morning. Then she goes home and
Annie went home.
You think it's
and
the same
Abed
day?
went home, but they're all still there.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The statement Jeff makes about getting in front of the issue Letterman style. Do you understand that? Do you know the
I
Letterman
do not
scandal?
understand that one.
Letterman had enough. He slept around while on his show, and he was married. And he slept around with some staffers, and then someone was blackmailing him with information about it that they were going to tell the press unless he gave them money. So Letterman went on his show and told everybody what was going on.
The Reynolds pamphlet.
And it kind of, and it's
Have you read this?
It's a really interesting clip to watch because at the beginning he's talking very earnestly, and he's talking about inappropriate things with people that worked on the show. And because it's a late night show, people are like, woo, woo, and people are like laughing, and he has to be like, guys, I'm like opening my soul. He's like, I'm being blackmailed right now. Can you just?
And they said,
well, because they're an audience at a late night talk show. They just had like the warm up guy before the show be like, all right, everybody, energy. And then he comes out.
when
and
he
he's like, "I've
comes
been
out
fucking
here, I
around."
want you guys to go nuts.
No matter what he says, don't change that happy emotion. Yeah, so that's a nice pull.
Nice.
I like the way that this episode makes Jeff and Annie smile and flirt at each other, but doesn't do anything rash.
Jim Rash.
They keep it at bay. Chang comes back.
Michael Bay.
He's ready to show everyone what he's been up to all night and day.
Charlie Day.
Thing about this, can you stop? My favorite thing about this is when he pulls out the laptop to show the video that he made to everybody, that you can literally see like a corner of Kim Jong's face like gyrating and stuff on the screen. I think it makes it so much funnier that they actually shot that footage instead of just having everyone look at the screen.
The way Abed just stares into it, the dean's peeking out the tiniest bit.
I love Abed's like plainly delivered lines. We don't get enough Abed, but that's a funny thing that he does this. You're the only actor.
Genius. Why did you do this?
What parent is gonna let their kid go to a school if a porn got shot there? But you shot it in front of a white wall and you're wearing a Greendale t-shirt. Okay, then why is it called Chang Does Greendale? Oh, reshoots. Then he goes off to probably get arrested. How does he just get away with this stuff?
I don't know.
This man, several years ago, had a stable job, had a beautiful wife. Mm-hmm. Now he's lived in vents. He's had on again, off again relationships with charred mannequin legs.
He was a dictator.
It's been rough. Yeah,
almost blew up a school full of people.
A child dictator. Intag, what do you think about it?
I think it's really funny.
It's really fun to see the other side of this. We've been seeing just these like faceless Japanese boys being the other side of this texting chain this whole episode, and then now we see like the other side of it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The boys in the situation. What's his name?
16,
Takashi?
17-year-old.
Takashi?
Yeah, he's from an affluent family in Tokyo.
A very disciplined, stoic father.
His dad's a salaryman, overworked. He's drinking at home. He had a brother that let him down, dishonored the family, and he sees that in his boy, and he doesn't want that for him.
And it's funny because it flips it around, and instead of these kids just being cruel to the dean, him being Jeff is kind of the same to him as what it is to the dean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like
just
he's
someone
getting
he can
similar
turn
stuff
to.
out of it. He gets a friend, and it's really almost cute and wholesome when he texts the dean and is like, "I'm trying to be honest with you. I'll tell you the truth. Let's end this. I need a friend right now." And the dean just does not get it.
No, he's like, I'm not Jeffrey. I'm not the dean.
The dean?
The dean?
Hellos? This kid, like, just really needs a friend. When he's like, is everything hard? Is life bad everywhere? All the time. Well, this is just a late night call for the dean because he's like, how can this lead to me coming over to your apartment?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not Jeffrey. I cannot tell. I could just read off all these messages. If you haven't watched this episode in a while, this sequence is so funny. So absolutely go back and watch it if you can. I think we all are sometimes.
Ain't that the truth?
What do you think about then the twist at the end that the dean... So what happens here? He says, I am not the dean. And now does he think that he's been getting punked this whole time too?
No, I think he's just like, you know what? This world is sad, cruel, and I'm alone. So I'm going to turn to
Even
a life
reaching
of crime.
out to a friend from someone who wanted a friend isn't working. So I'm turning to a life of crime. Do you think it's a little too easy to make a Yakuza joke, or do you think it fits?
It's a little too easy, but it's fine.
The way that someone points the
Office
thread
did
of...
it first.
The way that someone made the thread of the dean's stupidity leading to this, that
is
he'll
really funny.
never know that this happened, but now, who knows, thousands of people are going to die because he said the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's funny, but it does feel like the easy, like, Japanese joke to make, kind of.
Well, especially considering the Yakuza nowadays is really more of a political figure than an active gang.
Is that true?
Yeah, they're not as prominent as they were in, like, the 80s and 90s.
Well, because
still
that
around.
guy's in charge now, and he's taking it into different directions.
There we go. Look at him.
Steven, that's the end of the
olives all
episode.
the time.
The 100th episode of Community, I feel like on TV, especially on sitcoms, the 100th episode is like an event. It's like, don't miss the huge 100th episode. Do you think this rises to that idea, or do you think it just kind of feels like a good episode?
I think if I didn't know it was the 100th episode, I wouldn't know that it wasn't just a normal episode.
Yeah.
But that's only because Community goes so big so often that it makes sense that for their 100th episode, it would be a, hey,
Bottle
our
episode.
school's going to have a commercial about it that says we gave a degree to a dog, because we almost did, so we have to fix that.
I really like this episode. This is one of my favorite episodes of season 6. One of my favorite. I mean, it has its small issues like the Annie thing, but it's so packed with jokes that are so funny that it's one of my favorite episodes probably of this last third of the show. Like, it's one of my favorite post-season 4 episodes, I think.
Oh, totally. I think it's really good. I'm excited to see like how, because we're getting closer to the part that I haven't seen. I don't remember exactly what the last episode I saw was.
I feel like we've gone through this, though, and literally the only episode you've never seen is the last episode.
I haven't seen the wedding either.
Oh, you have? I thought you said you had seen that one.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so that will be... Have you seen the last paintball episode? That's one of the last ones.
I don't know.
It's the one with, like... It's like kind of James Bond espionage, and it's like the man with the golden paintballs kind of thing.
I think I have seen that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Maybe.
Well, for this one, now that we finished it, let's talk about MVP.
Let's do it. I told you I had some trouble deciding when I watched it earlier, but not as much trouble as I thought. I'm going to give my honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
First honorable mention goes to Frankie. I think it's a fantastic Frankie episode. Really like it. Second honorable mention goes to Jeff. It was actually tough for me because I thought this was a really good Jeff episode, and I really liked what he did in it. I thought that his runner made sense.
Yeah.
If he had had a little bit more major of a rule, maybe a couple more of the punchlines came from him, then I'd be all for it. A lot did, but I can't not give it to the Dean this week.
Yeah.
It's too good.
Do you think it's the best Dean thing, or do you think they've done better?
It's close.
What comes to mind? What makes it hard for you to say it's the best?
The things that, like, when I think Dean Hall of Fame,
the costumes, the montage
time
of
that he comes in
costumes.
with the montage of costumes, that's pretty high up there.
The kiss from a rose.
really like the time that the two Dalmatians show up to the same dance. That's really incredible.
Mm-hmm. 2 dates.
There's a lot of really good Dean moments in the
Dean's
last
the
couple
best.
seasons.
Yeah.
The double cross episode where everyone's like the double agent.
I don't know what any of it is anymore.
That's pretty fantastic. I mean, but this one has to be up there. If there was a Dean Mount Rushmore, this would be on it.
It's maybe the top for me because of how it changes the way that you've seen him interact with Jeff for seasons. Because
it makes
it's
so much
coming
more sense
from
now.
a place that he thinks is encouraged.
Yeah,
Okay, I haven't
it goes
given mine.
from, okay, the Dean has this crush on Jeff that's never requited.
It's probably clear. Mine is the
Dean's
Dean
been
too.
having a text relationship with him for years.
Yes.
And
That
has
totally
been...
makes it okay. The little flirting and touching.
Well, I
that
have
he's
so much
done.
more respect for the Dean because
Yeah.
he's holding back. You know, he's
Yeah.
trying to keep
Sure.
Jeffrey's image intact.
Yeah, and he's putting up with a lot. If it's been years, I would have given up.
Yeah.
Mine is also the Dean. If I had to do an honorable mention, it'd be Frankie. I think Frankie is a really great episode and is kind of like, if she's the new anything, I feel like she's the new Jeff in a way that Jeff has been able to like take a step back and been like one of the spectators. Now Frankie is the one who's like, I am leading this group. I really like Frankie, but it's got to be the Dean just because it's one of the funniest things ever, and it's because of him. Well, that's the episode.
My favorite thing about season 6 so far is the contrast between Frankie and the Dean, because
and that's something they get a lot of mileage out moving forward.
So good.
That's a good point. They're very funny because they're so opposite each other, and they have to work so closely together this season. All right, well, that's it for this week. Next week, we're going to be taking a week off to, keep the season 6 vibes going on as long as we can. And next week, we're not going to tell you what it is until the episode drops, but we're going to be talking about one of the 4 shows that's in contention for our next podcast once we finish Community. Steven and I know what we're talking about. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I hope you guys can keep up with our Kardashian thoughts. Wink, 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 wink.
Yeah, I hope you guys can Jeopardy.
Well, we'll sure be fortunate to see you next week.
I can't wait to mash up all the options. and bones our way through. No, I'm really excited about that. But in the meantime, if you want to get in on the email game while we've still got only 10 episodes of Community left to get through, the next one we talk about will be queer, what's it called? Queer Studies?
Queer Studies and something waxing.
And advanced waxing. That's
Advanced,
going to be
wow.
the next Community episode we talk about. So send in your trivia, your MVP, and your favorite funny moments from that episode to can'tdisappointpodcast@gmail.com. And if you like the show, if you want to help us keep taking it further as we have been over the past couple years, patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. It's your way to put a couple pennies in Steven's empty little pockets
Hey-o.
and to get a little bit more content out of us. We have so much stuff over there for you to listen to, and a lot of it is listenable.
Yeah, almost all of it. If you want to... damn it.
Steven, where else can the people find us?
Well, good news for all you listeners at home. Our Twitter is mostly attendance-based, so if you come and follow us over at You Can't Disapod, you'll get all sorts of fun little tidbits, and you'll be the first to know when our new episodes drop. The second they're available, Zach tweets it. So come on and like it, retweet it, comment on it, save it to your bookmarks, DM it to your grandma. She'll be real confused. And if that's not enough, come on over and follow us on Instagram over at Can't Disappoint Podcast. I don't know if I said the right thing or not.
Yeah.
We're also on YouTube and Facebook. That's where you'll see our beautiful faces and videos. If you haven't watched the video to go along with our season 5 roundtable, go check it out. It's super fun.
Nice.
We had a lot of fun guests, and they're fun to look at. So go check that out over on Facebook and YouTube under the whole name of the show. You Can't Disappoint a Podcast.
And really do, if you don't follow us on Twitter, follow us, because that's where the poll that determines what show we do after Community will be held over on Twitter at You Can't Disapod.
So if you want to make us do something that you don't want to hear, that's where you vote. That's where we really sway it.
All right,
in.
Steven.
Are we going to add a write-in box where they can make a new show that's really bad? Yeah, they're going to pick like Don't
Reba.
Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
That's a good show.
I like it.
Yeah. We're doing
James
Reba,
Vanderbeek?
guys. Next week, we'll be here to talk about Reba. From inside the Dreamatorium, Black Lives Matter, I'm Zach.
I'm Steven.
And let's go just gobble up a big old can of olive.
Let's set our oven on fire.
Fire! Fire!
Fire! Fire!
Bye, guys.
In the summertime, when the weather is high, you can stretch right up and touch the sky. When the weather's fine, you got women on your mind. Have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.